Vision 2022 started in 2014 in January and then covers two phases, the 2014 World Cup to the 2018 World Cup, and then after the 2018 World Cup to the 2022 World Cup. What are the issues that South African football faced? One, we identified that we do not have enough coaches and that the player-coach ratio was too huge. It was over 200 players for one coach, and very often that coach would have a D license or no coaching qualifications. So we had to hone in and focus on getting more qualified coaches. Secondly, we did not have enough women coaches, women referees, so women technical officers was one of the focused areas. Thirdly, we have to have structured competition at junior level. And therefore we have to go down to the LFAs and our regions to make sure they have under 13, 15, 17 and under 19 leagues. That is still very much a work in progress, in that we're making now an assessment of exactly what progress have been made at that level. And I must say that in certain LFAs and certain regions they've made tremendous progress. We've just looked this week at KZN, and even the most rural areas, area like Nkandla would have 27 junior teams, and this is to be encouraged in other regions. So we have a very strong junior structure. The third thing we had to look at was that our national teams had to qualify for the African Cup of Nations and the World Cup at junior level, so that the player should not have his first cap or her first cap at the level of Banyana or Bafana, and this was often the case. What was then the result? From the period of the first World Cup, Junior World Cup, 2015, our under-17 qualified for the World Cup in Chile. That is under-17 boys or men. The under-17 girls qualified for the FIFA World Cup in Uruguay. So both under-17 men and women qualified for the World Cup. Under-20 men's team qualified for the 2017 World Cup in Korea, and also qualified for the World Cup in Poland in 2019. So we qualified for both back-to-back under-20 World Cups. Under-23, at the level of the Olympics, we had both teams in the Rio Olympics, both the women team and the men under-23 team. At the senior level, Bafana qualified for the African Cup of Nations 2015 and also qualified for African Cup of Nations 2019. In fact, went to the quarterfinals of the African Cup of Nations 2019. Banyana qualified for every African Cup of Nations right through in 16, 18, and in 2018, of course, they went to the final and lost on a penalty shootout against Nigeria. And as a result of that, they qualified for the first South African team to qualify for Women's World Cup in the 2019 World Cup in France. So all of our teams qualified for the World Cup except the under-20 women team. When we look at Bafana, of course, did not qualify for the 2018 World Cup in Russia. So in the first phase, the period 2014 to 2018, we qualified for every single major competition, both organized by CAF and FIFA, except for the Senior Men's World Cup and the Under-20 Women World Cup. All the other competitions were qualified and participated in those competitions. So we were very happy with the result that we have achieved. Secondly, in this period, all of our women teams were now coached by women. We had a situation where all women teams were coached by men. So all the teams are now coached by women, and these women are well qualified. And we are training more and more women. And so you find, for example, in a region of Okanyakude, which is in KZN, we have 45 women coaches in that area. And more of the women are coming through to get their qualifications. We also established the Women's National League, and now we have the SAFA League at the provincial level and the Women's National League, which started off this year, and they're making great strides. It's the first year, and we are one of the few federations on the African continent who have a women's league. We have 456,000 women footballers. We want by 2022 1 million women footballers. So overall, I think that we are very happy with the progress that we've made, but we're not going to rest on our laurels. We're going to work harder because we want to make sure that we are amongst the best on the continent and among the best in the world.